All right, update on the Plush. A lot of work has been done now in the kitchen because down here I have a bigger JCM 800 15 cabinets, 8 ohm. That's the only 8 ohm cabinet I have besides my 12 Music Master bass cab with the vintage 30 in it. And then I start off with this speaker I don't care about at first, and then move on to ones that I do like. And anyway, the amp is on. Really can't even hear any hum now. I feel like I got it dialed in. It's on. I'm at 115 volts. Yesterday I had some major breakthroughs. I had a lot of noise starting out when I first got it up to about 60 volts. It came to life. A lot of electrical buzz. I rerouted the negative bias so it didn't run under all these wires around the B+. It comes and hops over here on the front and runs down on this white wire. And I studied grounding schemes from the Valve Wizard in England, and he was referring to this German guy who came up with this kind of like a ground bus. It's only connected to the chassis at one end over here by the input. So I have everything grounded in order from the noisiest stuff. I have the cathodes. They're solidly grounded, but they're tied together, and then they come over and connect here to the very end. And then it goes, I separated my negative bias, moved it up here towards the middle by the phase inverter, cathode grounds, but then the big filter caps, they go in order and hit the ground rail. I got all the grounds routed nice and up, kind of floating. I separated my tone stack instead of having them all tied together. Made them, I grouped them. So these are the volume and the treble expander get hit first, so they come up here. This is all the preamp section for V1, V2. It all gets grounded right up here, right after the shielding on the coax. And this thing might be almost as quiet as the Champ at this point. So right now we got 460 odd volts on the B+, and on my screens after going through this 1K 20 watt and the 1.5K 5 watts, it knocks about 15 volts off of those, so they're at 450. I need a set of matched output tubes. That's where I'm at. I have mismatched tubes, and I know that these Sylvanias seem to handle it, but these are KT 77s that came out of the JCM 800 when I got it. They're still good, but you get up to 125 volts and it looks like the screens start to glow a little bit. So I'm backing it down, keeping it at 110 or 115. What I miss on the grounding? The filtering for the can capacitor, which is grounded to chassis, but it also ties over here. In theory, it might help. And then this little 16 microfarad cap is for plates over here. So is that. So those are tied in up here, and then it goes phase inverter, V1, V2, shielding, input, and then that's the only place it's grounded. And the tone stacks in there. So that actually quieted it down quite a bit. And then also the other thing I did, I was getting, it sounded like an octave fuzz with a tremolo. I was getting an oscillation, and it was like it was blocking distortion. I was researching it. That sounded exactly what it was. Like it was just farting out the signal when it got over to the power tubes. And I ended up putting some grid stoppers on the el34s. I put 47Ks because already you can go up to, it doesn't start to cut off audible frequencies until over 50K. So I put that in there and that helped. And I moved all my grid wires. I had everything laying flat down there with the blue and the yellow with the cathode and the plate running parallel with those. I liked how they looked, but then I picked them up, got them up here by themselves, shortened them. I took out this pot, which is the symmetry pot that came up here right to the grids of the phase inverter, and you can make it swing from one side to the other, and I took that out as I was going for getting this noise out of there. It didn't seem to add any, but I haven't hooked it back up because it started to sound really good. What else did it? But yeah, so it was missing from the trainer schematic. Plush didn't have any grid stoppers on the phase inverter, so I put some 100Ks on there like it has in the schematic, and I dropped it to one input. I was trying to do the fender high and low, and the values, I had the two old 68Ks, and I don't know what I was doing, where I was grounding them was making it do something weird. But anyway, I know that on the high gain, we should be getting like 33, 34K ohms. So I had a 22K and I put that in. And after I did the grid stoppers, that dropped down the blocking distortion a little bit, but I still had it. So I was like, let me try to get this up 33K. So I put a 15K in front of that, eliminated the grid wire, and that was it. And that's where it ended up. Like I said, she's on. It's not on standby. I got the guitar plugged in. I just got the volume down. So let me play a little bit. All right, so I got the 70s Ibanez Les Paul copy plugged in. I'm going through a vintage 30 through an open back old Fender guitar cabinet, that Music Master bass cabinet, and roll the volume down. It does pretty good. I have the preamp gain all the way up, and I'm just running off the master volume, and it's on 1.5. You know, try not to blow this one speaker up that I got. Sounds pretty rad. Sounds like a Marshall, and it's got some really deep, complex harmonics from these amazingly big transformers here. So yeah, I need a set of a match quad of el34s and set the bias. I've checked the bias voltage. I've got it. I got the 47K to ground, the 10K pot, and I'm doing let's see what it is now. I think it's like negative 50 some volts. Negative 48 volts. So I don't know if that's enough. Like I said, I don't have a bias probe tool to check these. That's the next step, but need to get some tubes. So Charlie, if you got some tubes, hit me up, man. I'll come on down. Bye.